It's the fan phone-in. Look, I've calmed down since last night. I promise you. Um, well, I guess we should get this show on the road. And talking about the road, it's my co-host Mark Ryman, who very nearly got run over earlier this evening. How are we getting on, Ryman?
Yeah, I'd like to point out it wasn't my fault, but yeah, car crash today and a car crash yesterday, eh? 2 in 2 days. What was the betting in that? Good God. Yeah, just out for a run. Someone decided to veer over to the other side of the road to nearly run me off the road, and yeah, got a few knocks and bruises to thank for it as well. So that's really cheered me up after yesterday's game.
Yeah, it doesn't rain, but it pours, doesn't it? And yeah, we're going to talk about yesterday. Um, Not our most pitiful performance of the season, but it is another performance in a string of performances whereby now we played 11 games, won 5, drawn 1, lost 5. Um, we thought at this level it would be slightly easier. And that is not paying any disrespect to teams in League One. It's taking into account, and there's actually a fantastic stat that I'm picking off Outlaws. It's absolutely tremendous. Okay, so the three previous um, teams that have been double relegated, how have they done? So Swindon Town, um, they got relegated back to back. They went up as champions, losing 4 games all season. Wolves, they went up as champions, losing just 5 games all season. And Sunderland, who was the most recent team to get back to back double relegations, they lost 5 games all season and they finished in the playoffs. But they didn't go up. It took them like 3 seasons. But
Mm,
essentially, 5 games to even be in a shout of playoffs or automatics. And we've we've already lost 5 games. We've already hit that number.
yeah.
Just summarize it. How screwed are we? Like mid-table mediocrity this season, right? We are
If
bang
we're
as David Henry said in the comments just now, we are a bang
yeah,
average
we
League
are.
One team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the mentality. I know you said this isn't the worst game of the season. For me, I think it feels like it's lower than Lincoln. I know the performance probably wasn't as bad if you look at it as a neutral, but the absolute capitulation when we go 1 goal down is so un-Luton-like. It's embarrassing to watch. It feels like watching a Luton Town that I barely recognise, that I probably only remember from when I was younger in the Lenny Lawrence days, and I probably even include some of the darker days of the conference in that. It was so poor. But yeah, I think everything feels apathetic from the players on the pitch. In front of goal was appalling, and then we went behind, as well as Bloomfield looks completely bereft of ideas in terms of being able to motivate the squad, and that's got to be it, right? I've been saying it. We've both been saying it for far too many times since we started doing this podcast as the OK Football Show, since we came down from the Championship. So please do call in and give us yours. I feel I feel completely done with it. I feel absolutely done watching Luton and putting myself through it. I'll be perfectly honest. Of course, I'll keep supporting them because that's what we do. But it is utterly miserable being a Luton fan at the moment, and utterly predictable being a Luton fan at the moment. And we can point to lots of things. We can point to formations. We can point to recruitment, not for a system. I don't care about those things as much as I care about the lack of fight, the lack of commitment, the lack of belief that we're ever going to get back into a game. And let's face it, look, it was good to get to back to 2-2 against Blackpool. I'm kind of glad we didn't do, for lots of reasons, we didn't do the Wednesday midweek, because I was still annoyed about that game and I didn't want to be all negative after salvaging a point. But if it wasn't for that deflected goal from Jordan Clark, there's absolutely no way that game would be any different. So, yeah, just sick of it. Absolutely sick of it.
Yeah, we get into that rhythm whereby a result just saves the manager's skin. Lose, lose, lose. Win, redemption. Continue.
Just like Edwards. Just like Edwards.
Yeah, exactly. And we were saying before we started, nothing's changed. Like when Bloomfield came in, we did look more solid at the start. But we've gone backwards. We're not solid anymore at the back. That's one thing that Bloomfield did get after when he eventually got that win. Last season we looked more solid. We looked more competent. But all that has gone away. I don't know what's gone wrong. You say he's lost the changing room, which
he looks like he's lost the dressing room.
Yeah. It looks like that. And at the end of the game yesterday, he pretty much waved all the players to go talk to the fans. He just bucked off to, go back in. And it's the same platitudes being trotted out week in, week out from him now. We will try harder. Maybe try something different. That's what I don't understand. A lot of good comments in from people. One of the best things I've ever had said to me was so Tom Long here says, was promotion to the Premier League a curse? Promotion to the Premier League in the stadium has cost us a lot more. Our very identity. Lots of people saying, curse. Was it a curse? And one of my good friends who's a Hatter, he said, when Luton Town got promoted to the Premier League, they should have wound the club up, and that is actually looking like like that should have happened. Really,
I think I said it last week or the week before about Pelly's comment about completing football, and I really do think that Gary Sweet and the board felt the same way. I really do. It feels like that, doesn't it? Like that was the perfect kind of ending point for them, and then after that, it's all gone wrong. But
hubris.
There we go.
I've said it over and over again. It's hubris, thinking your shit doesn't stink, and essentially you can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Where you take your eye off the ball, and it hits you square in the bollocks. Right. Shall we get some callers?
Please. Yeah. Let's get some callers in.
A reminder, everyone, if you want to call in, you have to use Discord. The calling is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description below this video. Click it. You'll get taken to the green room. You won't be able to see anything or hear anything. We'll be able to see that you're there, though. And you just got to stick around, wait, and then we'll drag you in once we get to you. So, first of all, let's bring in Tyler from T-Boys TV. Good evening, Tyler. How are we getting on, mate?
Evening, Tyler.
Hello, guys. Hope you guys are well despite the football.
I've been better, mate. It's not been a great weekend, I'll be honest.
No.
Ditto.
Yeah, it's World Mental Health Day next Friday. Club not thinking about that, are they? Yeah, I mean, actually, there is a serious point on there. We'll touch on that later because it's hard work. But yeah, look, what needs to happen, Tyler? What's your viewpoint? I'm assuming you watched the game on Saturday.
I mean, going into it, I did have that slight feeling we'll probably lose just based on how they've been at home. I was a bit optimistic on my own channel, saying we could get a draw, but then I said I wouldn't be surprised if we lost, like 2-1 or something like that. But I mean, the game itself it's like you said, Mark. When we concede them 2 goals, there's just no fight, and there's just no trying to. Well, even when we conceded the first, it's just not really. We're just trying to rush at things, and it's frustrating. And I even look at the lineup, and it's like every week now there's always 1 or 2 things you look at and you think, well, why is that player there? Like, why is that formation like for example, I know obviously we've got a lot of strikers up, but we've still got enough strikers to be playing two up front right now, and we're not doing that. And Nordos for me, he's not a player that's going to get loads of goals, but I think his contribution elsewhere in terms of setting up players and creating chances for them can be influential. But when he's up there by himself, I think he's got no hope really, to be honest. And another thing that saved him the other day against Blackpool was the timing of the substitutions. I mean, this game he didn't do any until 22 minutes to go in the game, and it just wasn't really good enough. I mean, obviously he did say certain players might come in. Obviously like Longwick and Yates for this game. Obviously we didn't see them. I wouldn't have started them anyway, but it would have been interesting to have more attackers. And the fact is as well, and someone said it on my stream yesterday, we had no defenders on the bench. I mean, that is worrying. Especially in
second game in a row.
Yeah.
Like even Christian Chigozie can't get a game.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and I don't understand that.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, 2 points you made. I just wanted to ask a follow-up question on this about the two strikers. Matt Bloomfield I can't remember what pre-press conference it was, but it might well be the Stevenage game press conference. He said about the fact that there's going to be increased competition now. There's only one striker in this formation, and that of course, they recruited in the thought of having two. Are you both getting the same impression that I am, that he only makes changes to formations or the side because of fans getting on his back about something? Which I'm pleased we went from a 5 to a 4, but I don't want me to do that simply because he goes, oh yeah, people are getting upset, let's do it. It just points to that weakness of character. I don't know whether either of you caught that in the press conference, but it rang alarm bells for me when he said it.
I've stopped listening to his press conference.
Fair enough. Yeah. Tyler, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Tyler, did you hear that? I just feel like, why would you say, oh, we recruit for two, but now, thanks to all this pressure, we're playing one?
No, I didn't actually hear that, and I do, try to like pick out pretty much everything that he says. But yeah, I mean, I didn't actually. I mean, for that, that reminds me of that game when Rob Edwards changed it up against Sheffield United away last year, and then put players completely out of position. A midfielder who's not even tall up front in Clark.
Got PTSD from that game.
Yeah,
I was there.
That's what it sort of reminds me of. And then obviously, I know Makoso was obviously decent. I don't want to be critical of him himself, but the way he's trying to shoehorn him into right back when it's just not natural to him at all. It's just, it's desperate, really, and it's not working at all.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right. I mean, also, like the bit of the formation that got me a little bit as well is playing Bramall as a left wing. When Kudura had the biggest impact, I would argue, him and Clark when they came on against Blackpool, they were both brilliant. And Kudura came on actually on the right wing. So for me, that makes sense that to put Bramall on the left wing and put Kudura on the right wing. Morris can't play as many games, and Ali probably did need to be dropped. So that made the most sense rather than trying to shoehorn him into a left wing role that he clearly isn't. Put him at left back. He's a left back. It just frustrated me.
But. Yeah, especially when you base it on his really good impacts, and obviously we haven't quite seen him on the left yet until obviously that Blackpool game. And yeah, I totally agree, and that's the thing as well. Like, obviously, I know he dropped Ali for this game, but there was sometimes he has this like hesitation. Like, to me, it seems like to himself to not be dropping players when they should clearly be dropped. And it's sort of just in the sense of not necessarily the achievements, but more so the the way he comes across as a character. It does give me similarities of Rob Edwards, because obviously Rob Edwards got the Premier League with us, so that obviously takes him over him in that sense. But yeah, just the way he comes across, and I said it yesterday, I don't think he's ruthless at all. He's not a manager I can sit there and have trust that he's behind the scenes, telling the players what needs to happen. I just can't see it at all.
No, absolutely. He's not doing any of that. So Tyler, last question, because we've got people queuing up in the green room. What would you do now? Would you keep Bloomfield, get rid of Bloomfield? Do the problems go deeper than Bloomfield's?
I said it on my channel yesterday. I think the problems are everywhere. From top to bottom. I think that obviously the higher ups, in the sense of obviously stuff, focusing on the stadium, trying to do the football side of things as well. No, you need someone, doing each thing. Obviously you guys mentioned it on, I think the last time I was on. We've got, obviously, I believe you guys said we got 3 goalkeeper coaches. It's just a shambles. It's just an absolute shambles from top to bottom. So I think everyone's got to take accountability. The higher ups, obviously the manager for his selections, in-game decisions, and some of the players. Some of the players, I think they're better than they are. Some of them, and they're in League One for a reason. Let's be honest. So yeah, I think it's a factor of everyone, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair
Couldn't agree
play.
more.
Yeah, perfect storm of shit. Thank you very much, Tyler. Really appreciate you, mate.
Thanks, Tyler.
No worries, guys. Take care.
Right, so that was Tyler. Remember to subscribe to Tyler's channel. He does watch-alongs. He does loads and loads of Luton Town videos. Puts us to shame. He's all
It's hard
over
work, though, isn't it?
TikTok. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
It's hard work at the moment without us getting on the pitch.
Yeah, to be honest, the commitment to do that. Like, I'm happy we've reduced it down to like 3 videos a week. I think that's enough. Like, people don't want too much Luton content. But
No.
if you do want Luton content, Tyler is your man. Him and Lewis Williams, just pumping out the content. I don't know if you saw Lewis's reaction yesterday. I thought the first 4 minutes were absolutely sensational. He's really pissed off, and I've had lots of. He's spot on, but it's funny because I've had lots of chats with him on WhatsApp leading up to this, and he's talking to someone, and he's like got complete faith in the recruitment. He's like, yeah, there is a master plan, but something in him just snapped, and he properly went at them yesterday. It was hilarious.
Well, I think to be fair, me and you have been pretty patient this season. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but I think we both quite liked Bloomfield. We both agreed that he was the wrong man for the wrong time, but we both quite liked him and wanted to give him time this season and take the wins for the wins and all of that stuff, despite it not being great. But yeah, I mean, there's no improvement. It's got worse after 10 games, not better, and eventually we're all going to just say enough's enough.
Yeah. I personally, I don't think getting rid of Bloomfield is the option, because who'd you replace him with? Who'd you replace him with?
Well,
unless you're
let's put that out to everybody
money.
else, shall we? Let's put that out to the chat
shout.
and let's see what people say, because I tend to disagree. I think that was, for me, that demonstrated there's no turning this ship around from Bloomfield. But I agree with what Tyler said. It goes way deeper than that, and we all know that it doesn't just begin and end with the manager. But yeah, what do other people think in the chat? I mean, there's quite a lot of people asking for Bloomfield to go. Who do we put in? Who's realistically going to come to us in League One as well? Not just no one say Jose Mourinho or something, or they're probably about the same chance as Dyche probably, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right, let's bring in our next call.
Let's do it.
Even because we're gonna smash through the callers today, because loads of people queuing up in the green room. Everyone wants to have their say. Good evening, Christian. How are we getting on, mate? Is Christian there? Hello, Christian.
Hello. Yes, you guys kind of cut out as I came in here.
That's a shame.
Yeah, was. Yeah.
Right. So
yesterday happened, right?
How are you enjoying your time following Luton Town?
You're still here. I'm surprised. By now, if it was up to me, I'd have probably gone.
Yeah, I watch a lot more football than just Luton Town, just by the virtue of being a college student and the culture around sports we have here. Truthfully, if watching bad teams and teams that do questionable stuff made me not watch them, I probably wouldn't be watching a whole lot of college sports, unfortunately. So watching Luton Town's kind of easy when you've seen some of the things I've seen. A 5-0 loss yesterday was a celebration. That's kind of how things go sometimes for some of my soccer habits. Anyway, yeah. Stevenage are not really a side that we should be losing to, especially not in the manner that we did. We're the first top half side that Stevenage has beat this season. And I know that we haven't exactly been all that great against, especially like top 5 sides. I think we've played 4 of the current top 5 and we've lost all of them. We don't like execute when it matters most, and we were very lucky to scrape that draw midweek. Absolutely. I see the calls for Bloomfield out, and I understand why people don't want Matt Bloomfield here anymore. The team's always just in a state of calamity. It seems we're always trying new things. There's always something that's going wrong. I mean, we don't have any defenders on the bench like the last 2 games, I believe. We're pushing things. We're living on the edge, and it really should have been 2 losses this week. And I get why people want Bloomfield out after what happened this week. But as you said, Ollie, there really just aren't a whole lot of great options. So we're kind of in a tough spot because we're not seeing what we want at all. But at the same time, there's not really anything that can be done about it because Matt Bloomfield's the devil we know. We can go out and fire him, find somebody else, but that's just a devil we don't know. And what if they don't, what if they don't turn the ship around? Because Matt Bloomfield was supposed to be the savior for Rob Edwards, and look how that turned out.
Oh, well, no, we didn't think he was the savior. When it came about, we 100% agreed he was the wrong man for the job. Potentially down the
good
road,
manager.
He's good manager. Good manager, did good stuff at Wickham. But for what we needed at the time, we pretty much universally agreed as a fan base he was the right man at the wrong time. Completely.
I just pick up on what you said, Christian, because I think there's a really good point about Stevenage that we haven't mentioned. And look, for Stevenage fans later, if they do watch it, and they might do because they won, pick me up on it. I think they were a side there that we certainly should have got something from. If they are the best of this league, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, then we should have got something from that game. Don't get me wrong, Stevenage absolutely outfought us and deserved to win. So that
very
was
organised.
Fine. Yeah, they were, but they created nothing for 60 minutes of that game. Nothing. And we had the opportunity to do something, and we just didn't. So I'm absolutely with Christian there that the fact that we lost that game 2-0 without really a barely a whimper towards the end against a team. Yeah, right, it was windy, but against a team that created next to nothing for over an hour is ridiculous.
The thing that grated on me, and by the way, Tom Long just hit up a great choice in the chat. Roy Keane for manager. He would light a fire under all those players' asses, wouldn't he? I'd take him if he can rebottle that Sunderland magic. The thing that irritated me,
he's failed more than he succeeded, but yeah, all right.
He's had like 2 failures, one success. Yeah. I think, like, on paper, our players are good. They just need discipline. A very basic system. I said this in my post-match, you need to treat them like they are 5-year-old kids. Don't overcoach them. And that is the problem with a lot. Sorry, Christian. That's the problem with a lot of these modern day coaches that like pretty much are out of the FA academy. Like, they have their systems, they have their ways they want to play. And they overcomplicate everything because they're like, I want you to do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, Mr. Burns, when he's talking about softball, and you just see Mr. Burns on the sideline going, like, and no one knows what, like, Homer has no idea what he wants him to do. So he just ends up getting hit in the head with the ball.
Good Simpsons reference. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Like, that is the thing. We are overcoached. We need someone just to come in, dumb it down, tell the players, do these basics. Defenders, keep a line. When the ball comes to you, either hack it clear if you're under pressure, or pass it to someone that is not in danger. Wingers, when you get the ball, hit the line, run. If you can, cut in, play it to someone, to feet. keep it very, very, very basic. It's very frustrating, but it's a symptom of modern day football. Yes, sorry, Christian, I completely cut you up there, my mate. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You guys mentioned all that. It reminds me of just some other matches that I've seen this season. One of the big things that I have a problem with is Josh Keeley. He, to me, is a very kamikaze keeper. He needs to learn to stay by his goal because last I checked, he's the goalkeeper, and I think I've seen him closer to the halfway line than the goal quite a bit.
Keeper.
He's
That's
sweeper
what.
keeper.
He can be a sweeper keeper, but here's the thing: he's not very good at it. Good sweeper keepers don't do what he does.
I think his confidence has been crushed. He is the keeper
possible.
that kept the most clean sheets last season in this league for Leighton Orient.
Yeah,
he is a
I
good
think-
keeper, and
I-
if you see
We're
like,
not Leighton Orient.
what he did in the earlier games compared to, I don't know, something just switched for him, and he's lost all confidence. I have no idea what's happened to him.
Yeah, can I just add really quickly, Christian? Sorry, yeah, feel free to join and say. I think the sweeper keeper element of his game is okay. His shot stopping's gone all over the place. I mean, he let in the second goal
Beating
through his
his
near
near
post
post.
shouldn't have happened. Obviously, we don't need to mention the first goal against Blackpool, the Plymouth mistake that led to their third. The last few, you know, this. I like Josh Keeley, and I've been stood up in his defence. There's no defending some of the plays that he's had, but you saw it happen to Kaminsky last season as well. You know, Kaminsky, who we're all lauding as one of the best signings we made as a goalkeeper. I remember us having this conversation. He's the best keeper since Ian Foyer. Is he the best keeper we've had in memory? We were saying that about Kaminsky in the Premier League, and then towards the second half of the Championship season, he cost us more points than he gained. I'm absolutely sure of it. Couldn't come off his line for toffee, kamikaze goalkeeping, etc. So, you know, I agree with Christian in that Keeley's struggling. I wouldn't say it's in that realm, but, you know, there's got to be a cause for that as well, because he's the second keeper now that is just suddenly done that in terms of his dipping.
Yeah, we're not Leighton Orient, right? We're Luton Town. The defense though is a little bit shaky, and I think Keeley, he works best when the defense helps him out a lot. But when the defense is struggling, like our defense often does, the keeper needs to be strong and the keeper needs to be sure. They need to be a safe pair of hands. I mean, I watched a match earlier this season where the keeper made 19 saves. She faced 19 shots on goal. She made 19 saves because her defense wasn't helping her out. It was a 0-0 draw. Like, if a keeper's a sure set of hands, that's great. Keeley's not. When his defense isn't helping him out to the maximum degree, he struggles. And I think him being good at the start of this season, maybe it was a little bit of a carryover from last season, but also maybe some luck, because now we're seeing him regress greatly. And I just don't think a keeper's going to regress that much in that quick of time if that isn't a lot closer to maybe his true level with the factors given. Also, as Ali said,
he's not the only one
simply,
that's regressed, mate. He's not the only one that's regressed. Ali has regressed. Jordan Clark has regressed a little
Name
bit.
all of them. Wells was great at the start of the season. What's happened to him?
Wells scored 10 goals last season for Bristol City in the Championship. Wells was pressing like a maniac. He's regressed. Yeah, like, I'm talking about players from last season that have regressed. They've regressed from the beginning of this season.
Mhm.
It's like the first 5 games compared to the last 5 games. We're like a different team. It's like all the confidence has been sucked out of the team. It's unreal. And
flip side of
it's
this.
like it's a positive feedback loop where it's just folding in on itself now.
Yeah, look, you can see how even brilliant goalkeepers can fold with bad defenses in front of them. You know, I think Raya for Arsenal at the start, when there was all that change, when Raya just started in the club and suddenly he was flapping everything. I mean, we took advantage of it. Eli scoring, was it Eli that scored that goal from a corner?
Yeah.
I know it feels like a million years ago, right? That happened. We scored 3 goals.
Rose above him.
Terrible.
Bam.
Now look at him. Now look at how imperious he is in the Premier League. We know he's a good goalkeeper. On the flip side, Ethan Horvath, arguably, you know, one of the poorest keepers that we've probably had in recent years, yet had an absolutely consistent defence in front of him, and therefore conceded one of the least goals in the Championship in the season
He
that we got
faced the
promoted.
fewest shots.
Yeah,
He faced the
but that's
fewest
it.
shots in the league. Yeah.
But there's no doubt that Christian's right. Keeley has dropped off. I'm not arguing that he's not. But I think, as numerous people have said in the comments, inconsistency in front of him. I think, by the way, I think that picking Anderson out, I think slightly harsh. I thought he was all right, actually, until the goal went in. I thought he was okay. But fine. I don't really want to pick on individual player performances too much, but you're right. So many people have dropped in confidence, and we have a different back three or four in front of him.
I know your opinion on Anderson. With Anderson, by the way, thank you very much, Christian. We'll get the next caller in. What do you think we need to do to change Luton Town right now? The manager or the people at the top that need to go?
Can it be January already? Because I think a strong January window is probably gonna be the only thing that can relatively save us.
You honestly have faith in the recruitment. That's brilliant.
We just bought 14 players.
Yeah. We'll buy another 14. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Look, providing the recruitment speaks to the manager, whoever the manager is, and we actually get in who the manager wants, then I think it's important. And back to Anderson before we go.
Go on.
And a reminder as well. Call link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to get involved, please do. You'll come into the green room. You won't be able to hear or see anything, but you'll be in the green room. We'll be able to see you. Wait patiently, and we'll bring you in as soon as we're done with our next caller. With Anderson, we signed him in the Premier League. I know you're wanting to defend him. We signed him for the Premier League.
Not his fault.
League One. Okay, he was League One Player of the Season.
Yeah.
Team of the Year.
Yeah.
He's now back in League One. He was not good enough for the Championship. Could not stay fit.
Okay.
And now it's again. He's too frail. So he comes back, takes 5 games to get back up to speed, gets injured, and then takes another 5 games to get back up to speed. We cannot afford passengers. And he looks like he's lost any pace that he actually had. He can win balls in the air, but he's got no pace to recover. And you'd think at League One level, considering we signed him and he was one of the better players in League One, you think he's dominating this league, which he is not.
I just let me come back and then we'll move on to callers. Look, my only argument, firstly, it's not his fault he was signed to the Premier League. That speaks to our recruitment issues that we've absolutely talked about a lot. Was he good enough for the Premier League? No disagreement from me there. Secondly, his injury record. Yeah, all right, his injury record. Name another 8 or 9 Luton players that got the same problem. I think in terms of this season, I think he played well until he got injured, and when he came back from injury, he looked poor for that one game. I think you're right in terms of pace, but then he's got a player like Ted Mengi next to him to provide that. I don't mind that so much, as long as you've got a player that can defend the box a little bit more, and I think he has done. People that are talking about McGuinness as being the future for us, I don't think there was that huge amount of difference between the two in terms of their pace.
Look at McGuinness now.
Well, quite, but he got a move to Sheffield United, is all I'm saying. So who are supposed to be? I mean, they ended up in our league probably next season.
Yeah, but we'll be playing them. Next season.
Well, exactly. But the point is that one's a £10 million player that goes to Sheffield United, and the other one can't do it in League One. I'm not suggesting that he's incredible or he's Virgil van Dijk, but I do think that he was okay in the last game. I think he's an easy one to focus on. I think he's been solid. I don't think he's been anything great, but I think he's been relatively solid. He had one poor game when he was back from injury, but I think he's been okay. I don't expect him to be. If Bloomfield's expecting him to be doing what Mengi does or Makoto does, then that's Bloomfield's problem. That's Bloomfield's fault for not utilising him properly. That would be my argument there, because he's clearly not that player. But there we go. Anyway,
I
my
think we
view.
need to switch to a back three.
Shut up. Right, okay, let's get Simon in before you start going. Oh my god.
Uh, yeah. Oh, all right. Good evening, Simon. How we getting
Go on, Si.
Hi, gents.
All right.
Yeah.
Doing all right?
So, well, yeah. Yeah.
Enjoying your weekends?
No.
No.
Yeah, but I
bloody
wonder
usual.
why.
Yeah,
I wonder
know,
why
mate.
we're not enjoying our weekends. Listen, I'm not even going to dig into any players, mate. I'm not going to dig into any of the players. I'm going to dig into the people who deserve it most. And the only consistent thing at our club is our board not being fit for purpose in what they are attempting to do. Gary Sweet, I'm sorry, mate. You've got blood on your hands for what is happening at Luton Town Football Club. When we were promoted to the Premier League, that was supposed to be the new dawn. You heralded it as the new dawn for Luton Town Football Club. And we are now in League One. Not just in League One, mid-table in League One, losing to Stevenage. Now, no offence to Stevenage. I think they've set themselves up pretty well this season, but they offered so little in that football match that we just completely failed to take advantage of anything yet again, because we are completely clueless in the final third of the pitch. And this all comes down to recruitment at the end of the day. And I'm not even convinced that the players we signed were ones that Matt Bloomfield really wanted. I don't even know how much say he has over that kind of thing at our club these days.
Well, if you believe what Gary Sweet was peddling in his Three Counties interview, Bloomfield has all the say over who's coming in. Yeah, but what wasn't that? I believe that was Gary Sweet just deflecting onto Matt Bloomfield that he should be looking after the sports science, the transfers, the this, the that. Honestly, that a big problem with this is the fact that there is no communication between recruitment and management. Because
there's no communication across all levels of the club. It goes across every level, from fans to board. It is just ridiculous, and it's a disgrace.
It sort of begs the question on. Yeah.
Go on, Mark.
No, I was just going to say, how bad does it have to get before things change? So pretty much what Ollie said, just
worse.
Slightly
Apparently, worse. Like, at what point is there going to be someone ballsing up, taking the reins, and being a leader? And I'm not talking about on the football pitch. I'm talking at club level, board level. Because if that man's Gary Sweet, then what the hell's going on? Because it's going directly into a wall under his watch. Gary Sweet would never have had to buy a drink in Luton again 3 years ago to be in public enemy number one now. And I'm very sorry. I'm really happy with what they achieved for us up until 2023. But I'm not blind. I can see the wheels have fallen off the Luton Town bus. And people criticising that aren't being negative. They are being realists, because that's what we have now. I'm really angry about it. It goes beyond what we see on the field now. The last time it seemed this disconnected was when I was a kid and when the club was at death's door. That is the only comparison I have to the current vibe at the club.
Yeah. It's important to separate what they're doing in terms of building the new stadium and
100%.
what they're doing on the football side. Because what they're doing in terms of building the new stadium, is it a bit grandiose? 25,000 seats? Maybe a tad. Even Brentford just have 19,000 seats. I think 17,000 seats probably would have been sufficient for us, 2,000 away fans. But in terms of the football side, they have massively taken their eye off the ball, perhaps preoccupied with the stadium. Perhaps they just think the football side will take care of itself with the management, but it's fairly obvious. If you neglect it, it will just capitulate because they have not put the right people in charge Jay Sochik, who was rightly lauded for all his footballing takes and his recruitment and analytics. Yusuf Sajjad, who comes with a track record. Obviously, between those two, they don't have the expertise to run the footballing operations. Maybe they're too scared to talk to Matt Bloomfield about what he actually wants. But these problems, they extended beyond backwards to Rob Edwards as well. And Rob Edwards and by extension Matt Bloomfield, they also both don't have the chops to manage the football operations. Gary Sweet cannot handle the football operations and the property development operations at the same time. As it stands, we are a property development company with a football team. I've said that many, many times, and I've heard many, many people take my joke, which I don't mind people taking jokes. Just always remember.
Don't worry, I've used it a few times.
Oh, brilliant! Just remember to credit it.
Listen,
I think
I heard it. I heard it on the LTST as well. Like James Cunliffe was like, "Oh yeah, someone said to me, we're just a property development company with a football team." I was like,
it wasn't you.
listen, if the club
never spoken to him.
If the club don't think people are angry now, yeah, what do they think's going to happen on Tuesday if we go out of the Virtu Trophy to a team that's lining up with Pelly in it? What do they think the reaction's going to be? Listen, I wouldn't put anything out at this point. We are a mess.
Nah, Virtu Trophy will turn up. We're going to turn them over. And Pelly scored on the weekend. We're going to turn them over, and then that will it'll be like Barnet. Everyone going into the international break, everyone will be like, "Oh my god, look how many goals we scored!"
No. I'm holding you up on that. Barnet. We beat Burton 3-0 previous game as well. Remember? So look,
yeah, I don't know why we've called off this Huddersfield game. Like it's not like the players will be queuing up to come back because when you're struggling, the players don't want to come back.
Yeah, just to follow up on, because there's, I think Simon speaks for a lot of people in terms of that anger towards the board, and it's inevitable in the kind of where things have been going for the last 2 years that people are angry at the board. There's lots of disagreement in the chat over this in terms of the CEO and the board as well, and just to kind of mediate between those two things, as Ollie said, there is a big difference between judging the board on what it's done in the past and what it's doing for the stadium. I'm fine with the stadium being the size that it is, as long as the football continues on the upward trajectory that we saw before we got into the Premier League, which of course it hasn't. And I think that Gary Sweet coming out and doing an interview, yeah, great. It's good that he's done an interview. We've all been asking for that communication, but that interview did just reiterate that he is as out of touch with the footballing side of things as we suspected that he was. It did just confirm what we all thought his viewpoint might be, and that does concern people. Look, I think you cannot possibly just constantly live off past glories, however glorious those are. You just can't, regardless of what job you're in, what line of work you're in, whatever element of life. You cannot just live off the past. And unfortunately, 2020 is not an exception to that. It really isn't. And as things just continue to seemingly, get worse in terms of on the pitch, then people are going to be angry. And, that Mansfield game coming up in the league, at least, is going to demonstrate that if things haven't changed.
I think it's important to remember as well, even though we may disagree, if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. You're entitled to your point of view. Nobody still talking about Luton Town now is doing it for anything but love. We all love Luton Town Football Club. Anyone still around talking and caring clearly loves the club. And we may differ on how we want to see things to go, but we all love Luton Town at the end of the day, and we want to see the club do as best as it can.
I just hate the embarrassment factor.
Yeah, I'm really embarrassed.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's just embarrassing, and at the same time, like because I love the club, I will go to every home game. I don't go to away games because I can't afford it. Away games, like you're looking north of 100, 150 pounds, and I've got mouths to feed. But there's no impetus to go to these games because I just know when we travel, we're going to be putting in spineless performances. And when I go to the home games, it's like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
It really is. I mean, the home performances for me have
what are
been
we going to
amazing.
see? Yeah, but what are we going to see this week? And you know, if we all know if we concede first, we're not getting anything out of that game. And you think that would have changed in League One? You sort of hit that inflection point. You know, like when you're going up through the leagues. Look at Wrexham now. You know, you can only steamroll your way through a league for so long until you finally hit other teams that have as good, if not better, players than you. And you hit that inflection point coming down. Whereas we went from the Premier League. Okay, we obviously weren't good enough for the Premier League, but we acquitted ourselves. Then the Championship. And you'd think that sort of we wouldn't lose as many games as we did. You think there'd be some games where we'd be in it, but we weren't in most games. It was just frankly pathetic. And then you thought coming down to League One, we'd hit that inflection point as well, where we'd win more games than we lose. And now we're sitting on 1-5, drawn 1, lost 5. How do you guys want to hazard a guess, since we started this podcast in our previous iteration, how many games we've won in 3 seasons?
Not many. I
Oh,
feel
I
like
saw that. I saw it online. I can't remember.
Conversation.
It's like 22 or 23 games or something, isn't it? I think I feel like I've
24.
seen. Yeah, I
We
knew
won
it was close.
24 games since we
saw this
started this
online.
podcast when we got to the Premier League.
Out of 90,
That is
whatever it
crazy,
is.
man.
Yeah.
That's 46 games last season, 11 games this season, 38 the season before. Horrendous.
Really bad.
Absolutely horrendous.
So, Si, what do you think in terms of Bloomfield? Because a few people are talking about this in the chat. Is he done?
I've said it's time. He's got to go now. It's not going to turn around under Bloomfield. I'm sure people go, well, who do we get in then? Who do we get in?
Yeah.
I just want an experienced hand in at the club. I don't want a young project manager right now. I want someone who's going to come in and instill some discipline into this undisciplined team and getting them doing something basic that's going to end with the ball in the net and Luton winning football matches.
Ditto.
That's what we needed last season. We needed that last season.
Jones trained last season, should have thrown a load of money at him. Now look at him and Charlton. It's so frustrating to me seeing Charlton stuff at the minute. They are riding the wave. Nathan Jones is doing for them what he did for us, and it frustrates the life out of me.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, we should have got Steve Cooper last season. I think he was out of work.
He was, yeah, he was out of work.
Yeah,
it would have been a lot of money. We could have at least interviewed him.
But we only interviewed one person.
Well, exactly.
1,000 data points. 100 shortlisted. 1 interviewed. It's like one ring to rule them all.
Listen, Wickham and us are not at the same level. I'm sorry. I know that the other people might disagree with this, but they're very different connotations to take in what was a side in Luton that had money to spend and saving us as to what he did at Wickham without that pressure. I'm sorry, there just wasn't the same pressure there. But yeah, I'm with you, and I'm with Si. I can't see him turning it around. I really can. I really can't. Rather, Ollie, I know you said you want to give him more time, and it's inevitable that he will get given more time. So it's a bit of a moot point anyway. But how long are you giving him?
It doesn't matter how long I'm giving him.
No, it doesn't. But I just look. We fell into this trap with Edwards last season. I think everyone's keenly aware of this, right? That I called for Edwards to go probably privately, maybe on the pod after that Sheffield United game that was mentioned earlier by Tyler. That was just an absolute joke where we played everyone in the wrong position for a laugh or just to prove that the 4 at the back didn't work or whatever it was, but it was ridiculous. I called for him to go there. That was pretty early on in the season. And obviously it took until the start of January before it actually happened. How long this time?
January. It's gonna be the exact same thing. We're gonna see the exact same thing, except the difference is we're not gonna be hovering around the relegation zone. I reckon they stick with him. I reckon he gets a season. I reckon they ignore the crowd. I can see Bloomfield finishing the season.
Lessons have been learned. Lessons have been learned, and they won't hesitate to replace Matt Bloomfield, remember? Oh, wait, you don't mean what you say anymore, board of Luton Town Football Club. I can't trust the word you say, and it's sad.
He's a project manager. I reckon they're going to give him the season and see if we... I reckon if we miss out on the playoffs by... I reckon he goes when we mathematically can't make the playoff. Yeah. So it could be March.
I think it's way before then. The way we're playing, though. I mean, you might be right. By the way, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that the way things are going at the moment, we're going to be nowhere near it. Absolutely nowhere near it. We're going to be.
No, of course not.
It's going to be mid-April.
We'll be nowhere near it.
Right, I'll leave you on this. Right? It's been very nice having the exact same conversation we had at this point last year. That's how little we have progressed. We have had the same conversation tonight that we had a year ago about Rob Edwards.
We haven't progressed. Yeah. We have regressed.
Yeah. We have not moved forward in any way other than a river being rerouted and a substation being moved. That's the progress Luton Town Football Club have made over the last 2 years. That's it.
Well, we're a property development company at the end of the day. Like, fuck the football.
Well, let's hope next week. Well, I don't know if we'll have a break next week. I'll have to talk to you after the international break, and we can continue being depressed together.
Yeah, genuinely.
Our Wednesday. We'll do our midweek.
Yeah, we'll do the midweek. We'll see. We'll see.
Have a good evening, gents.
Have a good evening, mate.
See you.
Well, cut him off prematurely. Whoopsie daisy. Well, a lot of I'd say a lot of people, a lot of support for Gary Sweet, but it's just one guy.
No, there's a couple of people, I think, but I think a lot of people agreeing with you that we're going to keep him for a fairly long time. And by the way, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just don't think we should. I'm not saying that we won't. I think people thought he was going to go last night. I never ever thought that he would, regardless. And as you say, it's just papering over the cracks for a couple of games. You know, at this stage in the season, what you want to see, it's not, points on the board are important. Of course they are at any time in the season. But at this stage in the season, what you want to see is some shoots, at least some green shoots of what we can expect. Some of the basics being done right. And then we can see where we want to go. I would argue that apart from the one move that was between Richards, by the way, one of the positives as well, I have to say.
That's why we've got to bypass him.
So
down wing,
don't get me started.
The ball over his head.
Don't get me started. Well,
you're right. That was the one good move. Exactly. The middle.
6 minutes into that game, Richards, Nordas linking up with Bramall, who stuck it over the top. That was it. I would argue in about 2 games that was it, and maybe obviously the move for Couture for the penalty. But other than that, I can't see enough to see that this team is going anywhere in terms of positive direction. And if that's the case, yes, we will pick up points against some of the poorer teams in the league by virtue that they can't hit a barn door either. And eventually, if we keep being gifted chances, we'll score. But we're going to be nowhere near it in terms of the top 6. We're just not. With the way that we're playing, we're just not.
No, I can't see it at all. I want to see, as you say, improvement on the pitch. I want to see more ideas rather than just playing down the wings. And I said that yesterday in my post-match. Got to see more. We have these wonderfully technical players. Zach Nelson, he's regressed a little bit this season since his performances at the beginning of the season, but he's a technical player. Use him. Don't play around him.
Just
him.
On this as well. Balls over the top all the time. Look, for me, Lasse Nordas is no good with the balls over the top. I think Lasse Nordas is better on the floor as well as every one of our other players. Our best move from him is when he had the ball at feet. He's good at holding it up and linking up then. He lost every single aerial battle pretty much on Saturday. But that's not the point, really. I'm not there to bash Nordas, but it's the point that why the hell are we doing that anyway? Why are we doing it when we've got Naki Wells? Agree, Naki Wells has been terrible in the last couple of games that he's played, but why are we lumping it up long to him? I mean, the guy's never going to ever beat players. We're playing against League One, Matty Pearson like defenders, and all we're doing is just booting it up in the air. It's so frustrating, and yeah, we play it through the middle. We've got people like Lamine Fane who is whenever he gets on the ball is exciting to watch.
Yeah, well, 16% of our
too.
balls were accurate. 16% accurate long balls.
Pathetic.
11% accurate crosses. Only 2.
Yeah.
2 crosses. So that's 10%. 20 crosses, only 2 accurate. It's obviously not working. We're just flogging that dead horse. The horse no longer has skin, muscle, bone. It's just dust that we are flogged into the grounds now. It's honestly pointless. Like, we have technical players. We have a striker that can hold the ball up with his feet, as you say. Use that. And as you said, the best moves have been the ones where we slipped in players, Kajua coming in, Bramall coming in. Why are we doing anything else? Like, you only need one out and out winger.
Yeah.
And Naki Wells is always waiting for the cutback. He's not like on the shoulder between the defender and between the goalkeeper, waiting for that ball to get flashed across. Obviously, they've been practicing the cutback. So you only need one out and out winger. Have the other person cutting in. I don't understand it. I don't understand what we're trying to do.
Goalkeeping coach and striker coach, mate. That's probably where it probably comes from, right? But it is ridiculous.
That's why we're booting it over the top. Yeah, it's Lee Harrison.
But I mean, it's absolutely plainly obvious. We've got these technical players, and we just seem to go route one with them. It's just ridiculous. I mean, talking to technical players, did you watch Makosse's Cruyff turn? I think it was in the first half. It was beautiful. I mean, Mengi beat 3 players on the left-hand side about 3 times. It's just taken the piss at one point. We've got players that can play football on the floor. And actually, Naismith...
Then you have Mads Anderson just like a howitzer.
Yeah, all right.
Booting it outfield.
But yeah, okay, fine. And Makosse
and Naismith as well. Like, Naismith, I'm tired of his Hollywood passes. Yes, I know you can ping a ball, Naismith. But when there's an easy option there...
Yeah.
No need to just boot it and lose the ball.
Do you know when Naismith is good? When we're behind suddenly and he goes forward, he pushes forward past the halfway line and then puts in better balls. Whereas it's just, as you say, just constantly trying a massive diag every other time.
Lackadaisical.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's lackadaisical.
Yeah. But it just thinks it screams of, that move didn't work. All right, it's 1-on-1 with the keeper and he puts it over the bar. That move didn't work. Oh well, never mind. Let's not bother playing that again, despite the fact that it was our best chance of the game. What happened to that later on?
Try and do it again. Try and do
maybe
a little tweak on it. Like if they can't do that, move them around. Like, the whole point of like moving, like using your wingers is to sort of open up gaps. And then you think, fizz a ball into the middle, fizz the ball through the middle. And that is what you do. That is essentially football. Like, it's a simple game played by simple people, but all these modern managers are overcomplicating it.
And anyone who thinks, by the way, that Al Hamadi is going to suddenly solve all of these problems, I like Al Hamadi, but he is not going to solve that problem. He is not going to be able to put the passes through and get on the end of them and do everything else as well. It's not going to happen. We've got good enough players on the pitch, and I'm sick of it. We've been saying it for 2 seasons. You wait until name the player, Burke, Chong, whoever's back, and suddenly we will be this side. It's not happened. And I don't see why it'd be any different when Izzy Jones is back from injury. I'll be pleased. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. But I don't see it being suddenly the solution that we need. We've got good enough players on the pitch to play better than we are, and we're not.
Yeah. We don't need maverick players who can create something out of nothing, because we can't just keep pinning our hopes on like one player to bail us out over and over again. It's a team sport. It's a team sport, and we need to... One thing I've noticed, and I've said this since the beginning, football is played at a pace. And you can tell the teams that are playing with one eye to the championship because they play with a pace. We play with the lazy pace, and we only start playing with a bit more pace when we go behind. Why don't we start playing with a pace right off the bat and show some oomph, show some impetus? Like, we want to win a game. We play like with a wrongly deserved arrogance, and I've said this so many times. Like,
I think
we play like we're hot shit when in fact we're just a hot pile of dog shit.
I don't know whether it's that or it's confidence, but either way, I agree with you. I think that speaks to Bloomfield as well. The bit that the last bit for me really is that the other thing that annoys me with the way Bloomfield is, he's constantly looking at how oppositions are setting up, and he mentioned about Stevenage about not throwing it away in the first 10 minutes, and I agree with that, of course, but not imposing ourselves on the game whatsoever, apart from that chance. It's a nonsense. We shouldn't be worried about what other teams are going to do. We should focus on us and start imposing ourselves. I think that comes from the manager as much as anything. So yeah, it could be overconfidence, it could be underconfidence, but either way, we are not imposing ourselves at games either at home or away from home.
No. We always play like the away side. And that is a very important point you make. Imposition. We got to impose ourselves. We have to be ratty little Luton, like we used to be. And we're not.
I've just seen Bryn Watson's comment. If you want to have a little, I'm not reading it out. You can if you like, but I'm not reading it out. Yeah.
We play like old people.
Yeah.
We play like old people. Fuck. Yeah. I've got an image in my brain right now. That's horrendous. Thanks, Bryn.
Cheers, Bryn.
Right.
You're right there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably us done, isn't it?
That's a good ending, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Bryn. You get the final word. Yeah. Well, next week, Bryn, come back on, and you can. You can give us your thoughts on what's going on. We'll be back Wednesday, midweek catch up, won't we? I think it could be me, you, Film Wedge. We'll see. Wedge with his agenda against Josh Keeley. He's going to be. I told you so. He doesn't like Keeley at all. Never mind. Right. Everyone, have a great week, and thank you all for tuning in with the comments. The comment section has been absolutely banging. Everyone, take care. We got through the weekend regardless of Luton Town trying to ruin it, and most importantly, come on, you Hatters.